good evening. Welcome to Prime TV News with me, Iftia Abdul Kader. A look at your headlines first. Special attention of all political parties on the appointment of the members of the Parliamentary Select Committee. Arjun Aloysius and Kasun Palisena have been further remanded. Sri Lankan jailed in the Maldives over sniper allegations has been released. Showers to continue due to low pressure area in Bay of Bengal. And on news overseas, more than 50 perish in a suicide bombing in Kabul. And now for the news in detail. Special attention of all political parties on the appointment of the members of the Parliamentary Select Committee has been drawn. All these committees were governed by the Parliamentary Select Committee, which should be reappointed by the Speaker in consultation with party leaders or party representatives once a new session is convened. Provisions have also been received under the standing orders of the Parliament. With the end of the parliamentary session, new Parliament Select Committee has to be appointed. Except the Committee on Higher Positions, Supervision Committee and the Special Committee, for all other committees, new members should be appointed. Leader of the House, Dinesh Gunawardena, stated that the finalized list of the members for the Parliament Select Committee would be handed over to the Secretary General of the Parliament. However, a crisis situation has emerged regarding the appointment of the members of the Parliament Select Committee. The Maldivian government has drawn its attention on the release of Sri Lankan youth Lahiru Madhushankar, who was arrested in 2015 under the allegations of attempting to assassinate former President Abdullah Yamin Abdul Gayoom. It is reported that Lahiru Madhushankar had been incarcerated for 3 years without a fair trial and was subjected to inhumane treatment during his imprisonment. The government of Sri Lanka and Amnesty International called on the Maldivian government and the Human Rights Commission of Maldives to investigate the allegations in addition to demanding the provision of humane detention conditions. But the Maldivian government had not responded favorably. According to Maldivian media outlet Miharu, a meeting took place at the detention center in Mafushi, Kafu Atoll, where Madhushankar is currently incarcerated, when Minister Faizal Mustafa was in the Maldives to attend the inauguration ceremony of newly sworn-in President Ibrahim Mohamed Solih. The minister held lengthy discussions with the Prosecutor General, the Criminal Court and the Judicial Service Commission of the Maldives to guarantee Madhushankar a fair trial. The Department of Meteorology says the rainy condition is expected to enhance over the island as the effect of the low pressure in the southwest Bay of Bengal Sea area still persists to the north of Sri Lanka. Showers or thunder showers will occur at times over northern, north-central and northwestern provinces. Fairly heavy falls of about 100 millimeters can be expected at some places in the northern province. Fairly strong gusty winds about 50 kilometers per hour can be expected over northern province. Misty conditions may occur at some places in the central, Sabaragamuwa and western provinces during the morning. There may be temporary localized strong winds during thunder showers. The Meteorology Department requests the general public to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by lightning activity. The fishermen are advised not to venture into deep sea and shallow sea areas off the coast extending from Mullaitivu to Mannar via Kankesanture today. Showers or thunder showers will occur at times in the sea areas off the coast extending from Pottuwil to Puttalam via Trincomalee, Kankesanture and Mannar. Winds will be northwesterly to westerly and wind speed will be 30 to 40 kilometers per hour in the sea area extending from Trincomalee to Matara via Kankesanture, Puttalam and Galle. Winds will be southwesterly, southerly in direction over other sea areas around the island and wind speed will be 25 to 35 kilometers per hour. The shallow sea area extending from Mullaitivu to Mannar via Kankesanture can be rough at times as the wind speed can increase up to 50 to 60 kilometers at times. The northern deep sea area can be very rough at times as the wind speed can increase up to 60 to 70 kilometers at times. Temporarily strong gusty winds about 70-80 kilometers per hour and rough seas can be expected during thunder showers. You're watching Prime TV News and still on the local scene. A tense situation arose at the Balapitiya Pradeshiya Sabha today. A tense situation erupted when a group of members of the Podujana Peramuna of Balapitiya Pradeshiya Sabha, including SLPA Provincial Council Chairman Saman De Silva, entered the council wearing black bands to protest against the dictatorial behavior of Speaker Karu Jayasuriya. It is reported that there was heated exchange of words between the members of UNP who were sitting in the Pradeshiya Sabha hall when the SLPA members entered the premises. The chaotic situation lasted for about 40 minutes. Three suspects have been arrested with 4,000 narcotic pills. The Minuangoda police who carried out the raid says that the drug racket has targeted the school children in the area. The haul of narcotic pill known as tramadol was seized by a group including the headquarter inspector of police in Minuangoda, Jivaka Rajapaksha. A son of a businessman in the Minuangoda area has been arrested while selling the narcotic pills. The police say they were able to arrest the related persons with the haul of narcotic pills during a raid conducted in Kandana area. The Tamil National Alliance has urged the diplomats at a meeting held yesterday to use their influence with whoever necessary to set things right and put the country in the right path. The TNA had a meeting at the opposition leader's office with 15 members of the diplomatic community to discuss matters pertaining to the prevailing political crisis, which initially started on October 26th this year. Diplomats from the United States, United Kingdom, Canada, Norway, Switzerland, the European Union, India, Korea, Bangladesh participated in the meeting. A media briefing was held in Colombo under the patronage of former foreign diplomats and senior lawyers in Sri Lanka on the prevailing political situation in Sri Lanka. Dr. Raja Gunaratna, Dean of Faculty of Law of the Open University, emphasized that it is a serious violation of international laws that foreign intervention into the current political situation in Sri Lanka.
This is nothing but naked intervention into the domestic affairs of our country. The Charter of the United Nations is considered as the charter of justice for the entire world. Now, what these states are now doing, and these principles, of course, have been enshrined in other treaty laws as well. And Article 9 of the Vienna Convention very clearly says, if an ambassador in a receiving country interferes into the domestic affairs of that country, the receiving country can definitely declare that ambassador persona non grata and expel. That happened in Sri Lanka also in 1991 in May. Mr. R. Premadasa expelled then UK Ambassador Gladstone because he involved himself in the election matters in Sri Lanka at that time. What they did thereafter, not only issued the statements, but they actually acted on the statements. How they acted? You remember that when the former Prime Minister was ousted, he called a meeting of the diplomats. Diplomats participated in that meeting which they can't do. And also the speaker himself, according to the media, convened a meeting of diplomats. They participated. Statement issued by these countries and also the action they did very much fit into the violation of these basic principles. We have the stamina, we have the legal mechanism, we have the political institution to deal with this situation, this is purely a domestic matter for which none of the countries in the world have any power to interfere.
Senior Attorney at Law Kanishka Vitarana said that Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa's government has no issue with the current situation as a no-confidence motion was not passed in Parliament.
The first thing that happened on the 14th was an attempt to suspend the standing orders, but he didn't know that that motion also should have been done in accordance with the standing orders. A motion to suspend standing orders should necessarily have the mandatory requirements. One is, Mr. Subanthiran's motion didn't disclose why he wanted to suspend the standing orders. So in that sense, to that extent, it been violation of the Standing Order 135. The secondly, what specific standing order to be suspended was not disclosed. It cannot be the whole together. It can be 1 or 2 or 3. It should be specific. The next step is he sorted in a division. That is, he called for a voting. So once you ask for a division, according to the standing orders, you can't get the vote by voice. Both motions suspending the standing orders were not passed properly in terms of the law. That's why Mr. Anura Kumara Disanayake couldn't give notice then and there and take up the motion then and there in terms of the standing orders. Mr. Sumanthiran is not a member of the cabinet, so it is necessary to go for a division. But in this case, Mr. Sumanthiran very correctly asked for a division. Once you ask for a division, you can't go for a vote by voices. The voting was also illegal in violation of the standing orders. There's no confidence motions were passed. Therefore, there's no damage done to the government of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa.
Former DIG Nalaka De Silva, who was arrested by the CID in connection with an alleged assassination plot targeting the President and former Defence Secretary, has been further remanded until December 5th. The former director of the Terrorism Investigation Division was arrested by the CID on October 25th over a suspected plot to assassinate President Maithripala Sirisena and former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa. He was arrested after a police informant, Namal Kumara, made the allegations against Nalaka De Silva at a news conference. Director of the anti-corruption movement, Namal Kumara, in September, uncovered information of the conspiracy and the alleged conversations that he has had with former DIG Nalaka De Silva regarding the matter and other controversial topics. The CID subsequently commenced investigations regarding the alleged conspiracy and has recorded statements from both Namal Kumara and the former DIG on multiple occasions. The owner of Perpetual Treasuries Limited, Arjun Aloysius, and CEO Kasun Palisena have been further remanded until November 29th by the Fort Magistrates Court. On February 2nd, the Colombo Fort Magistrates Court named former Central Bank Governor Arjun Mahendran, his son-in-law Arjun Aloysius, and Perpetual Treasury CEO Kasun Palisena as suspects in the CID's investigation into the bond scam. Aloysius and Palisena were arrested by Criminal Investigations Department officers on February 4th, who arrived at their respective residencies in Colombo. A group of youth in Dambulla succeeded in finding a historical landmass for the benefit of the future generation. The Lionheart Youth Association has taken measures to locate the historical sacred area and the largest Na Uyana, which is spanning over an area of 200 acres. This historical landmass is located at Kahagala Reservoir in Palagala, Anuradhapura. There are many historical buildings, viharas and inscriptions which have been preserved safely in the area. The chief prelate of Palagala Rajamahavihara, the Venerable Rajakiya Pandita Dagama Dhammalankara Thera pointed out that it is considered to be a noble task that the group of youth created a suitable sacred area to worship for the people of the area. The Kittu Abhiman Literary Awards Festival 2018, organized by the Jnanartha Pradipaya magazine and the Jnanartha Pradipaya Editors Forum, was held at St. Joseph's College Auditorium in Colombo. It was held under the patronage of His Eminence, Malcolm Cardinal Ranjith. It was the first time in the history that Jnanartha Pradipaya magazine organized such an award ceremony on behalf of the Christian masses. 35 writers who contributed with their creations were felicitated at this ceremony. Lifetime awards were presented to former Archbishop Right Reverend Oswald Gomez, Reverend Father Molligoda Moses, senior journalist Pushpa Rovel and cartoonist Camillus Pereira. Several journalists, including Ajit Jayawardena of the Independent Television Network, were also felicitated.